Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So it's been some time since I made another review. Last one was for Nina and her album Sleepwalking. And here we are back with some kick-ass heavy metal. We're talking about SNAKEYES from Spain and their third album, which is called Evil Must Die. Okay, so this is their third review that I made for this particular band, but this is the first one in English. I have to say that I really enjoyed their work since the very first single that they released, that they announced on their first album, The Ultimate Sin. And generally, I see this band in really high regards as very proficient musicians. Actually, they always had a really crisp production. And here they are with their third album. Okay, so generally, as you might expect from SNAKEYES, we're talking about the type of heavy metal that is a really nice blend of that Painkiller era heavy metal that we see with Judas Priest. Of course, some other speed metal furious anthems that you may probably hear from Halloween. And of course, some power metal howling, very specific to the bands such as Hammerfall. So what you can expect, really fast songs, well, not extremely fast, but generally fast, crisp production, really high vocals, like power howling, like off the top of Cosmin's head, a really powerful bass line with a metallic tone, and of course some really kick-ass solos from the guitarist. So I would say that this album is actually quite similar to the other two, but this comes with some aspects that I really like, and with some that I think that maybe is holding the band a little bit back compared to their other previous two albums. What I'm talking here is these compositions are solid as they can ever be. The singing is also top-notch, as I would ever expect from Cosmin. The lyrics are generally well written, and this time on this album they have a more general approach related to the nature of evil, whether it's supernatural, whether it's like personal, the evil that dwells within you. And of course it also refers to malevolent dictatorial and totalitarian regimes such as the Nazis, or theories related to the New World Order, like this cabal of people that are trying to control the aspects of everyone's lives, and of course that it's definitely not a good thing. And I would say that I actually consider this album to be a bit of a semi-conceptual album, because it generally deals with the nature of evil. And I would say this is probably a step forward for SNAKEYES, because they're concentrating on particular themes, lyrical themes that they try to transmute in a more musical format using the instruments and these compositions. And I could generally tell that this album is probably a little bit angrier compared to Metal Monster or The Ultimate Sin. I mean, there is that joviality that you may expect from this band, but definitely I think that the themes of this album are a bit more serious. I wouldn't say that the cover, the artwork of the album is something that I am particularly impressed. It is a little bit cartoonish, as you can tell. You have this Cthulhu-like creature that is coming out of the ground or out of the sea and is terrorizing everyone. But I probably considered that Metal Monster had a bit of a nicer artwork, and The Ultimate Sin, while decent, was actually probably a bit better than this. It gives me the impression that it's probably the artwork is a bit rushed. So a little bit of attention here would have been nice. Now, what would be my main criticism related to this album? I would say that some of the songs actually sound a tiny bit formulaic. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily a bad thing, because this is their formula for writing kick-ass heavy metal albums and heavy metal songs. But a bit of variation here and there would have been nice. And I actually think that the more interesting songs are the ones that probably deviate a bit from that formula. And right here I could probably cite a few of them. Let me see. I haven't memorized all of the songs, so I'm looking at them on my phone. I hope you don't mind. Okay, War Machine, the intro song, is actually very powerful, really kick-ass intro. It's still in that formula. The New World Order is also a bit of a better tune for my taste. Dead Don't Die, also awesome. The Clown and the God, this is really interesting. It has this like Joker-like inspired themes and lyrics, and it also sounds really cool. And probably the strongest song on the album from my perspective is actually the closing song, All Gods Are Dead. It's definitely on a bit of a more somber note, and it has this nihilistic theme that there is no God, or if there are any gods, they're not trying to help humanity, and we're basically in a pickle together in the world that we live in. Everything is so crazy and so fucked up that there's really nothing that we can do, and there's no supernatural force that we can appeal to, so we can ask for aid to solve some of the issues that we are facing. So yeah, generally these songs that tend to deviate a bit are the ones that are more to my taste. Not because I consider the other songs to be weaker, but these songs, these compositions just sound a bit more interesting because it is something a bit more nuanced, probably a bit new compared to the other compositions from Snake Eyes. Yeah, what can I say? I definitely recommend that you support the band if you enjoy this album, or if you enjoy any of their work, because with the whole coronavirus pandemic and like these all extreme measures that had to be taken, the band had to cancel a lot of concerts. They had to cancel the release, so they're kind of a bit of a conundrum, as many of other performing artists are facing right now. I'm not saying just for heavy metal and for metal in general, but all kinds of singers, composers, from classical music to, I don't know, something a bit more commercial and to metal, are struggling right now. So I definitely advise that you support them if you can, by purchasing this album online or ordering it to be shipped to your location. Yeah, generally, some closing notes. I think it's a pretty good album. It's definitely a very strong one when it comes in general for heavy metal. Some variation would be nice. And yeah, kick-ass production, great vocals, really a bit more serious lyrics this time, and a more angrier attitude, which is a bit refreshing. I wouldn't say it's probably as strong as The Ultimate Sin or as Metal Monster. I would say those two albums are on equal footing. This probably is a bit lower because of my particular expectations. I was probably expecting something a bit more. But still, a very, very good kick-ass heavy metal album with some power metal and some thrash metal hooks here and there. I definitely recommend this one, so be sure to check it out. So I'll see you guys soon. Next album will be for review will be for a Romanian band that has been requested probably a month and a half ago, and I'll get to that one as well. See you guys around.